All right, so let me tell you where we went wrong with coronavirus. And I, sh- I shouldn't even have to say this, but I'm not a doctor. Um, do I look like one? Um, Not a doctor, but I do have some professional experience and expertise in virology. Um, and you can laugh all you want, but it's from working at and volunteering at animal hospitals and vets. Um, you see, puppies, they can get various different viruses, coronaviruses too. They get a parvovirus, which is very similar to COVID-19, but it actually affects the puppies, and well, it's really hard when you have a puppy, die in your arms, and he's bleeding, out of his butt, and it's just a sad thing, and yeah, so where we went wrong with COVID is that we pretty much leaned on masks and and vaccines, and just completely just threw social distancing out the window, threw hand sanitizing out the window, and it's really strange. It's really strange because at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a lot of information about how long COVID will last on services. Last an hour on this service, 5 hours on that service, surface, 16 hours here, days on this surface, and it's like, okay, touch surface, somebody else touches it, touch mouth, boom, contraction, and I know this to be true from working in animal hospitals. You see, when puppies would come in, we would have to isolate them in little cages. They couldn't touch other dogs. Because if one had parvo, the other dog would that came in contact with it would almost always get it. It was a death sentence. A death sentence. And it was such a strict atmosphere in these animal hospitals that these dogs would have to stay isolated in their cage, and you'd take them out every day, for a walk, and then you'd spray down the area that they walked in and clean that area. And while one person is walking them, somebody else would bleach their cage, let it sit for 40 minutes, and then wipe it down, and then put water in it, and then put more puppy pads in it, and newspaper, and chew toys, and the chew toys and the squeaky toys, they'd get washed. They get washed in the washing machine. Wash them with detergent and dry them, and then put them in there. You could not handle a puppy. You could not take a puppy out of the cage, handle it, pet it, walk it, put it back in, and then go handle another puppy without switching your gloves. I've seen people fired over that. I've seen people, it's like you get one chance. You do it one time, it's like, hey, don't do that. You should know better. The second time, fired. Because why? Because you touch one dog that has parvovirus, you touch another dog, he gets it. And it's a sad, sad, sad sight to see a puppy die from bleeding out the butt. It's very sad. And it's like, why? Because some moron didn't change his gloves and pay attention at the orientation video, And so here we are in the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, and Dr. Fauci's like, first of all, he says, this is not a threat American people need to be concerned with at this present time, whatever. And then it is a threat, and then people are concerned, and then about a month later, he says something even more wild. The people do not need to be wearing masks at this time, whatever, some shit like that. And there was a lot of emphasis on hand sanitization. There was a lot of emphasis, there was videos, I seen them, about spraying down surfaces and how to run, a business with, keeping things sanitary. And this is why we're not beating the pandemic, is because we essentially threw all that out the window. We threw social distancing out the window. We threw hand sanitization out the window. And and the worst thing is, when it comes to gloves, it was either CDC or the WHO, one of the two. It literally said on their website, like, you know, don't wear gloves. It'll give you a false sense of security, and you know, it's not going to help you. It's going to be worse for you. It's like, that is such a bullshit line of fucking shit. Like, you could have used those wordings there, that sentence there to tell people how to properly use gloves. You could have linked to this YouTube video of this guy, this paramedic, showing you, you know, how to wash your hands, sanitize, put on the gloves, you know, and then double glove, you know, if you're in the, you know, in the emergency field, or if you're, you know, if you're gonna go shopping in the store and you're picking up stuff, put it down, put it, you know, double glove, you know. This just seemed like, from my background with animal hospitals and vets, this seemed like a no-brainer. And then here we have the CDC or the WHO, one of the two, saying don't glove up. And it just made me think, like, it just reminded me of, like, Fauci saying don't mask up. Like why are you saying that? Are they trying to save the gloves for the you know, are they trying to save more PPE? Because that's what it seems like. And it's really, it doesn't make any sense. There's so much evidence of touching surfaces. Certain surfaces hold it longer than others, but most surfaces will at least hold it for a half an hour. And as you reach a doorknob, turn a doorknob, and, you know, say, oh, chew, you know, doorknob, and then somebody else comes to doorknob, and then they're doing this and that, whatever. You know, there's a whole thing about how to wear a mask and take off a mask and not touch your face and do all this stuff. And there was a famous politician that everybody laughed at. He was a Republican guy, and he said, well, I think I got COVID for touching the mask and all that stuff. And people are just like, bullshit, that's stupid. No, really, like, you can, like, literally, if you follow medical protocol, there is a way to take off a mask. And there is a way to put on gloves. And there should be, those are like the four pinnacles, is social distancing, hand sanitization, vaccines, and masks. And we've essentially thrown half of that out the window. We're just leaning on vaccines and masks. We throw all that shit out the window. No more hand sanitization. No, and they discourage people from using gloves. And that is a travesty right there. That is just horrible. Because they could have literally used that space instead of saying, oh yeah, you'll have a false sense of security and then you'll just want to go touch everything. They should have said, hey, we want you to wear gloves, but don't get a false sense of security. Don't go touching everything. And remember that when you touch a surface, you're going to transmit something to another surface, so you should routinely switch gloves. And that's why I think that, like, they really fucked up. They royally fucked up by not trying to educate people on how to have proper... I mean, if you can, like, just rewind, go back a year from now, a year and a half, it was all about social distancing and hand sanitizing. Now it's all about masks and vaccinations. You don't hear a damn thing about social distancing anymore. You don't hear a damn thing about hand sanitization. And this is why we're not beating it. In a nutshell, that's why we're not beating it. You want to talk about conspiracies? Oh my God. Don't even get me fucking started. I truly hope. I truly hope. There's no cure for stupid. There's no cure for stupid. There isn't. And so, one would have thought that, you know, these professional disease and health organizations could have educated a public in over a year, but instead they give them lies. Oh, you should wear a mask. You shouldn't wear a mask. Oh, you shouldn't. No, yeah, you shouldn't. You know. Oh, but wearing a mask, you know, will not prevent COVID. It'll go right through it. There are smaller particles. It's just so stupid. It's like, okay, let's just pretend for 1 second that masks do not work. I wish everybody could just pretend right now that masks don't work and vaccines don't work. If we could all just pretend for a second that those don't work. What do you do? What do you do? Social distance, hand sanitization. That's what you do. That's all you can do. And so it's just a really sad sight, to see these people. They're such buffoons. I'm vaccinated. And I've got a mask. And let me just, do everything else wrong. It's just so fucking dumb. And I don't blame anybody in the general public, because I wouldn't know a damn thing about virology if I didn't, work at animal shelter. How many people work at animal hospitals and vets? How many people volunteer there? I see people fired for not switching their gloves. So shame on whatever it's a CDC, or I don't give a shit. It's probably both of them. Who, whatever. Shame on them for shame on everyone right now. Everyone, from Donald Trump to Biden and Fauci, the WHO, and these people. I don't know what Fauci's deal is. He's a liar. But he lied for noble purposes. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know how much, he is commanding, this stuff, and how much he is being, he's just a spokesperson, a puppeteer, a narrative of the other professionals, and it seems like he's the leading voice, and that's really sad because he's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. But I'm not anti-mask or vaccination, but I do feel like we could have beat this really easily. I do feel like, in the beginning, if we would have just locked the whole damn fucking country down for 2 months, paid everybody a universal basic income, give everybody a check to stay home, paid everybody to stay home, landlords included, made sure everybody was well off, and then opened it up, and then for another month locked down the elderly and the fat, obese people at risk, and then I feel like that would have done it. I really would have done it. It's like, yeah, stay at home if you're obese and old, and we'll give you a universal basic income for another 2 months, whatever. I feel like we could have been done with this in 4 months. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just some dude who worked at a fucking vet. But it's all fucking stupid, though. But you got even at the very worst, that, let's just say I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let's just say I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, the people who do know what they're fucking talking about really pushed social distancing and hand sanitization for a long time. There was hardly any business that you could walk into where they didn't have sanitizer at the door, at the tables, all around. You don't see that no more. You don't see that anymore. You don't see social distancing anymore. You see, hey, how's it going? How's it going? So we got our masks, and then it's like, hey, how's it going? Hey, it's like, and that's another story for a different day. This bullshit. I went to a Vietnamese restaurant, and it's like they want you to wear a mask like at the fucking door, and then once you sit down at your table a minute later, then you can take it off. Like, what the hell is that about? In fact, I actually refused to wear the mask because I was just like, why? Because in 1 minute from now, you're going to sit me down at a table where I can take it off? This is the most ridiculous. I wasn't protesting because I'm anti-mask. I was protesting because I'm anti-stupidity. It just seemed like the dumbest thing in the world. Let's walk in the door, put our mask on, and then take it off 1 minute later. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever... So, yeah, they didn't serve me there. Actually, got kicked out of that place because I just thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. But I am anti-mandating anything. I feel like, just personally, And I don't think that people should be able to go around and kill people and just be like, but there's also an aspect of it where I feel like the government has failed people. They've put people at risk by not pushing hand sanitization, social distancing. My whole thing is like, I'm over it. We should have been done with this a long time ago. Should have locked this place down for 2 months for everybody. Universal basic income. They locked it down for 2 more months for the elderly and the at risk, and we could have been done with it. So now I'm just like, fuck this shit. After that, like, you should be on your own. Enter at your own risk, And at the very least, like, we could have taught people like how to go out safely. If you want to walk outside and wear a mask, great. If you want to walk out and wear gloves and no mask, great. If you want to walk out and wear both, great. If you want to walk out in a hazmat suit, great. Like, protect yourself. We should teach people how to protect themselves, not say, don't do this because it'll give you a false sense of security. Like, what the fuck is that about? If somebody wants to walk outside wearing a fucking astronaut suit, do what you gotta do to protect yourself. You don't have to go to a restaurant. If you do go to a restaurant, just know that, like, that's a luxury. You want to go risk put yourself at risk, go for it. That's freedom. That's the price you pay for freedom. But the stupid, like, mask at the door, then take it off 30 seconds later, like, give me a break. Give me a break. There's not even hand sanitizer at the door. You're not even social distancing. Like, this is stupid. So stupid. And so those are my non-expert, non-doctor thoughts of COVID for the day. And just to recap, the reason we're failing this pandemic is because we've leaned on 2 pillars of the 4 and just forgot those other 2. We've just leaned on vaccines and masks, totally forgot social distancing and hand sanitization, hand hygiene. There should be more hand hygiene. There should be, like I said, man, like, I can't even stress this enough. You pick up a dog with parvovirus, walk him, and then pick up another dog, he's gonna get it. It's like a 99% chance you're going to transmit a disease from your touching this dog to touching that dog. And COVID is very, very similar to parvovirus in the way that it retains its potency, like, on surfaces, including hands, and other surfaces. It's just you see this stuff, and I just see stupidity everywhere around me. I'm just like, God, it's so stupid. I just want to, like, be done with this. I feel like at this point, it's just like everything I said was in the beginning of the pandemic. When I saw, like, in the first 3 months, when I saw the trends, when I saw what was going on, I told all my friends, I told everybody I know, I said, everyone is going to get COVID. I just saw, like, how stupid people were. Once I saw that, like, the CDC, like, wrote that thing about, like, not wearing gloves, I said, oh shit, everyone is going to get COVID. This is not going to be over until everyone gets it. And even then, like, I'm kind of wrong, because there's a Delta variant now, so it's like everyone. It was not going to be over till everyone gets all the variants, like. But yeah, I'm still a big fan of wearing gloves. And teaching people, hand hygiene. There's a great YouTube video of a paramedic. He shows you how to take them off, flip them inside out like this, and and not and wash your hands before and after. This is great shit that we never even got to that point, and that's the sad part about it. We got to the wash your hands, sanitize your hands, and then we had this misinformation from these idiots, saying don't freaking glove up. It's just like, what? And now we got people out there like, they're saying everyone's gonna get it. I said that a fucking year and a half ago. I said everyone is gonna get it. There's no one who's not going to get it. Because if you follow the trends, you see how people are being irresponsible and stupid. If you go to my business, dude, you have no idea. I run a retail business, and sometimes I have a line at the door because I only let one party in at a time. One party comes in, they buy their shit, whatever. I sanitize it, spray down, I wipe down the shit, and then next person comes in. There's automatic hand sanitizer at the door. Bzzz, I used to have to refill that bitch every freaking 3 days. Right? Every 3 days. Now I refill it once a month. Yeah. Once a month. I'm like, when they open the door and I open the door, like I realized this just a few days ago, so now I'm like pushing it more. Now I'm like, hey, grab some hand sanitizer, and they're just like, it's like they forgot about it. I forgot about it, to be honest. So, but yeah, once I noticed it like that the outside machine outside the door was not. I had to refill it every month instead of every 3 days. I was like, holy shit, I need to really like push this more. So now I go, I grab some sanitizer and I go, hey, you want some sanitizer? I try not to say get some, I say, hey, you want some? 9 out of 10 people be like, sure. The other 1%, the other 10%, the other one will be like, oh, I already did it. And it's like, want some more? Want some more? So yeah. We're in the age of stupidity now. And it all started with Fauci being like, there's no need to wear a mask, there's no need to be scared, this is not a threat. And then nothing's a threat. Nothing's a threat. There's no need to wear a mask, there's no need to wear gloves. Why not say, hey, bro, there's no need to social distance and there's no need to vaccinate. Like, let's throw it all out there because, like, obviously you're failing. You suck at it. You've missed the other pillars and you suck at it. You fucking suck. You should be fired. Game over.